Hello, my name is Stephanie from The Well-Doing Mama, and today I'm going to be walking you through planning that I was doing for marine biology. I actually filmed this a while ago because I taught marine biology last year, and I don't know if I lost a clip in here or I don't know what happened, but I kind of start in the not in the middle, but partway through planning. But I still think it's really useful to see how somebody is planning out a course and a class and just see the productive work that is getting done. So I am still going to go ahead. I just needed to put a little intro because it kind of starts like, okay, and here's what I'm doing. But I want you to see the process of planning something out. This could be whether you work in a co op situation or you're doing it for your own kids and your own family, just taking the time to organize and think through and plan out how you're doing things. So that is what I'm going to be showing you in these clips. And like I said, it's a little weird because it kind of starts partway through the planning, but I still think it could be really useful for you.
Okay, so I have the second activity for that day planned, which is a carbon cycle game. I will have to prep and put it together a little, but I'm not going to make those dice today. But based on this, I think we're gonna do this first. So where did my planning sheet go? So because this one takes a little bit to get out. So we're gonna do it first and the food web second. Because if I have to cut the food web short, I can either give that as an assignment to finish at home, or we can finish it the next week. So into my binder. And then their assignments are going to be, they've already done everything for chapter 8, except for the summary. So I'm going to have them do the chapter 8 summary. We don't always do those, but they are pretty good. And because they're going to do that, that means the next week, I want to go over the chapter 8 summary. Because they don't have the answers to that. Okay. And then I'm going to have them read chapter 9. And then do chapter 9 vocab. And the chapter 9 on your own. That feels like a lot of assignment. So let's see. Definitely, okay, they have to do the summary and they have to do the vocab. Let's look at chapter 9 and see if we could maybe split it. I don't really want them. Let's see. It starts on 267 and goes to 290, 77, 87. But there are some experiments in there. Oh, I don't know. See, this is where I get stuck. Trying to decide how much do I want them to do. But if they don't read any of chapter 9, then I teach on chapter 9 the next week. And I feel like that's going to put us a little behind. Let's see how that goes. Okay. What if we didn't read chapter 9 or do? So we just did the chapter 8 summary and the chapter 9 vocabulary. See, that doesn't feel like enough work. So let's read half of chapter 8. Read page 267 to, I like to cut off where there's one of these, to 283. And do the on your owns until there. Okay, let's try that. Then I will teach chapter 9 here. They'll go over the chapter 8 summary. And then what did I have for? Then we'll do the carrying capacity lab that I just bought. I'm going to be rewriting this a third time. In case you can't tell, I'm still trying to decide how to work it out. So they'll need to finish chapter 9. This book, I feel like the kind of reading it is really helpful, even if I'm teaching it, because of the way it's written out. And the on your owns, and then do the chapter 9 study guide that goes with it. I had him, and I might have him do chapter 10 vocab. That doesn't seem like too much. Okay, so I have one lab there. Now I want to go see. I bought that lab. Let's go back here and download it. I don't love a lot of the labs that came in this book. Oh yes, I remember looking at this. This does look super fun. Okay. Okay, so I'm printing that carrying capacity lab. They will graph it. So by the time they do all of that, I think that will be the only lab we try to do that day. I think just doing one is good. Oh, they're also going to take a quiz over chapter 8, which means I need a note sheet. I need to make a little note of what I need to do. So what I need to do is chapter 8 Quizlet and chapter 8 quiz. Okay. So then let's see. I'm probably not going to print every lab right now. But then here we're going to do chapter 10. So let's pull up and see what chapter 10 is on. Okay, I did have estuarial succession. Was there anything in this book I wanted to do? Okay, this is actually a pretty good lab. I do want to do this lab, so I'm going to put that on here. We're going to do 9.2. This is explore how water moves through different size sediments. And so I think that will be a good. Yeah. Okay, then let's go to chapter. And I did have something, like I said, I had something on ecological succession, which means I probably had a lab picked for that. So I need to look at that. Okay, let's look at chapter 10. So what I'm going to do for chapter 10 is the kids have been wanting me to talk through a chapter with them and show how I would take notes on it. So that's what I'm going to do. Read and notes on chapter 10. So that's what I'm going to do for them that day. Now, I may have them do that. Here they'll have chapter 9 vocab quiz. And then we'll go over chapter 9 study guide. We may this day flop and I'll do these things and I'll have my friend who helps do the read and take notes with them just so that they get somebody other than me to practice reading and taking notes with them, and she's really good at that. Okay, now I need to see about that. Oh, I want to see if there's any labs in chapter 10 I want to make sure we get to. I like to get a lot of the teaching of the chapters and then we can get more practice and in depth. Okay, that 10.1 looks like it's probably a good thing to do. Okay, 10 looks pretty short. So I'm going to put 10.1 there. It's just a paper lab. But I want to find this ecological succession that I had. So I'm going back to my computer. I'm going to go to my wish list. I often put things on a wish list. So I'm just using my computer to search for okay. So I'm not saying anything off the top of my head, just looking for this. So I will have to do a little more and see if I can find. Oh, well, this looks like it might be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to put that on the wish list, and then I'll come back. I'm going to put that on my notes sheet here. And then I know I need chapter 9 quiz also. Okay, so this will probably also be our ecological succession. And then I'm going to go back to here. Let's see. We've done, so they need to finish chapter 10. So if we didn't finish the reading, they're going to need to finish the reading. And then I want them to do chapter 10 on your own and chapter 10 study guide. Okay, so there's that. And then, so here we can take a chapter 10 quiz. Actually, chapter 9 quiz. Maybe 10 vocab. Okay, and so I can put that on here. Chapter 9 Quizlet, so they'll know what to study. Chapter 9 quiz. My kids are getting loud, so I may have to stop here. Okay, so then we have 10.1, and then I'm going to teach chapter 11 this day. And hopefully I can, let's look at chapter 11. See if I think I can get done with teaching it in a day. Let's see. It feels a little long. Okay, let's see. Oh, I don't have the stuff for that lab. Oh, I know what we could do for this lab. Do we have any other labs? Okay. This is on coral reef, so I will find a nice lab to do. I think if I did a note sheet, I could. So we'll do with note sheet. So hopefully I can get done with that. And then they have, let's see, where did my sheet go? They have not done the chapter 9 summary. And they, okay, so they definitely need to do chapter 11 vocab. And they've done chapter 10 study guide and chapter 11 on your own. And then chapter 9 and 10 summaries. And if I decide that's too much, I'll just cut out one of the summaries. Okay. And then here I had starting chapter 12. But we're going to be presenting books that day. So down here I have some extra labs. Oh, we could also do a coral reef lab. So I need to find a coral reef lab. Although I don't think the books are either due this week or the next week. I can't remember. So we're going to go over chapter 9 and then we'll go over chapter 10 study guide. So here they'll have a quiz on, okay, here they'll have a quiz on chapter 10 and go over chapter 9 and 10 summaries. Okay, and then if this is the day, then they're going to present their books. That may overflow into this time because all of my kids are making books. So that may take quite a bit of our time. So I am actually just going to leave this as a review time. Then here they will do chapter 11 study guide and chapter 12 vocab and chapter 11 summary, maybe. Okay. I want to do our quarter 3 test this day. Actually, I'll probably send home the quarter 3 test. So quarter 3 test. Okay. I let the marine biology kids do their test at home because that gives us more class time. So here I'm going to teach chapter 12. Okay, I may move that back a week. We'll see. What labs have I not done? Okay, I have a seafloor mapping I want to do this day. And then they need to, oh, see, here's where I ran into a problem. They finished writing chapter 12. I taught chapter 11, but I didn't have them read chapter 11. So let's see. Well, I could put that on there as optional. Yeah, and they need to probably read chapter 11. And so maybe we'll just do chapter 9 summary. So here we'll do chapter 10 summary. The nice part about doing the summaries a little later is it helps keep the information fresh in their mind. So here we'll do chapter 11 summary. And then we'll do read chapter 12. I'm obviously let's move the quarter 3 test here. Read chapter 12 on your own and chapter 12 study guide. I will have already taught, so the reading can be fairly quick read through of it. And then I have seafloor mapping. Let's see if there's any labs in here. Some slides, which I don't think I have. Okay. So I need to find the seafloor mapping. I don't know how long that'll take. And then here, they will have a quiz over chapter 11. So I'm going to need a chapter 10 Quizlet, chapter 10 quiz, chapter 11 Quizlet, and chapter 11 quiz. Okay. Obviously, all of this is probably not getting done right away, but it gives me a good starting point. And then here, go over chapter 11 study guide. Teach chapter 12. Then this will be a review. This will probably be review or catch up. This will be a quiz over chapter 12. Here they will do chapter 12 summary and then quarter 3 study guide. I always give them a good study guide. So here we'll review and go over the study guide. Now I don't have any labs for these 2 days. And I didn't have anything on these. The day we come back, they will have already read and taken notes on chapter 8, but I'm going to go ahead and talk through my notes with them. They will go over their chapter 8 study guide. They're going to do a carbon cycle lab and an ocean food lab. That can kind of carry over if we needed to. Their assignment's going to be to chapter 8 summary that's in the back of the book, to do chapter 9 vocab, and then read pages 267 to 283, which is like half of chapter 9, and do the on your own questions. Then I'm going to teach chapter 9, hopefully all of it, go over the chapter 8 summary, and they'll have a chapter 8 quiz. Then they're going to do a carrying capacity lab. They'll finish the ocean food web first if they need to. We'll kind of just keep pushing things down. Then they can finish reading chapter 9. I've already taught over it, so just the rest of it do the on your own. Do the chapter 9 study guide and chapter 10 vocab. Then we will read and do notes on chapter 10 together. So this won't be a lecture. This will be us reading a section and them taking notes. They want to be taught how to read and take notes. They'll have a chapter 9 vocab quiz. Then we'll go over the chapter 9 study guide. We'll do 2 labs that day, probably. Then we'll finish reading chapter 10. Another option, since I'm missing a lab later, an option is to do this whole thing together and then just move the labs down. So I might do that to just not, basically we won't do a lab this day, and we'll make sure all of chapter 10 gets read and taken notes on. So that's a possibility. Then they will have chapter 10 on your own and chapter 10 study aid. If we do that, I will probably move up the chapter 11 vocab. Here I'm going to teach chapter 11, hopefully with a note sheet, so that we can get through it all in the class time. They'll have a quiz. We'll go over the study guide. I have 2 labs planned, but like I said, we might move things down a little. Chapter 11 vocab. Read chapter 11. Do the on your own in chapter 9 summary. This I'm leaving as review time because we will have books to present. And so then we will have review time. I always print the Quizlets. So quiz, go over the summary. Then they'll do the study guide, chapter 10, chapter 12 vocab, chapter 10 summary. Then here I will teach chapter 12 again with a note sheet. Then they'll have a quiz. We'll go over the study guide, seafloor mapping activity. And then read chapter 12 study guide, chapter 11 summary. Review, catch up, chapter 12 quiz. They'll do the chapter 12 summary and then the quarter 3 study guide. Review, go over study guide, and then the quarter 3 test will be at home. I will probably also assign them to start on chapter 13. It's the week off, but I will probably still give them some assignment that week. Maybe I'll be really nice and give them the week off. Okay, so that is what I have. And then here I have my list I made as I went through of all the little things I need to do. And so I'm going to start seeing what I can work through. And like I said, I'm really tempted, and I don't have to decide that now. I can decide that I can leave this blank and decide later if I want to just expand this and have this take more time. Okay, I am not totally sure where I left off on talking about my marine biology planning, but I did want to show you my notebook that I set up, folder. Let's call it a folder. I set up to put all my plans in, and this should kind of finish off me planning out the third quarter of marine biology, which I teach at a co-op. You could do similar things, though, if you were teaching your own kids. I have done similar things. I do try to pair my kids for classes like science and history before we were doing them as a co-op. So I labeled these. So this one is this week. These are papers that we need this week. So for instance, there is a quiz we're doing this week. There's note sheets for this week. More note sheets. There is a lab we're doing and another lab we might get to. Then I have next week. So whatever here would be the next week's material, which I haven't printed yet. This would be anything future. So if I get ahead on printing, some weeks I sit down and I can get a bunch done ahead of time. This would be future material. This would be leftovers. So, oh, you know what? I labeled that wrong. No, I'm right. This is leftovers. So stuff from last week that we had left over after class. So I will keep that for all of third quarter, and then at the end of third quarter, I will empty that. If it gets too full, I'll empty it before there. This is extra activities. So I like to keep a couple extra things in case my timing is off and we have extra time. Or I also thought if I had a couple extra things in here, if I had a day I was sick and needed something, just some labs or activities to pull out. So in here, my folder's falling over. This is a food web. It's actually a pond, I think. Yeah, I think it says pond. But anyway, it is a food web. And so we did a food web this last week. So this would be a way to analyze and talk some more about a food web. And then back here, I have my plans. And then I also have in here the Quizlets. So I make Quizlets with our vocabulary and questions, and these are how they study for their quizzes and tests. And then I will use questions from this for our quarterly test also. And then in the back is their grade sheets and things I need to return. So I keep grade sheets for them. And then there's papers I should return. There's quite a few, so I need to kind of go through and see what I need to return. So that keeps it all so I can find it. This is so much better than the binder I was using because things were getting lost in the binder. So this is working excellently. So hopefully all of this together shows you how I set up for a co-op class and plan it out. Again, you could do the same thing for your own kids' class so that you could stay on top of it. And then for me, it was just way better to get it all planned out at one time so that my kids could keep working and I didn't get distracted and not get things accomplished. So I hope that is helpful. Thanks for joining us today. Please leave a comment if you have something else you'd like me to talk about or you have any questions. Please hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos about what we do.